Burned. It's time. In every major way, in every major choice, there's so many facets to potentially consider. Think too little? Maybe you have to step ahead without knowledge, with faith. You think too much? You might create worry, cause yourself to slip. You think too little, you'll miss concerns that you really do need to be attentive to. You think too much, maybe you think not too much. It's a lot. You prepare, you consider, you recognize. How do you judge the balance between faith and logic, courage, bravery, even foolhardy, foolishness, the faith to step off a cliff like a fool? How do you judge when you need to be precise, be aware? Prayer. Now, look, a lot of you may come from contexts, cultures, ways of life where prayer means one thing. I'd encourage you to discard it. Prayer is simple. You take whatever you're worried about and turn it into a prayer. I need to go over there. I'm worried that something will get in my way. I pray that I handle that challenge well. I'm afraid that I will slip. I pray that I remain steady. I'm angry that this person did this to me. May I transcend my anger and trust love in every step I take. You invert whatever concerns you have. You just figure, you wrestle, you struggle. This is where I can assure you thought is necessary. You're not thinking too much when you get your mind into the difficult emotions and use them to bend the forces within you. This is the first step. You need to pray. You need to pray. It's time. It's time. You need to be your best. It's necessary now. The energy's flowing. It's too late to turn back. It's moving. Now, you might be able to avoid the gaze, although it's very unlikely. As you have raised enough attention. You've been burning bright enough. I don't believe you would be here at all if that were not the case. So you've been witnessed, you've been seen. The spirit of the world herself has watched you. Gaian forces, angels, guides of this earth have already recognized you. This is a real thing. They are dancing around the world. It's a Gaia dance. And they're watching. Who's doing the work? Who wants this? Who wants to be a part of this? This has already been happening. They've been preparing. They've been recognizing. They've witnessed who's been working and they've witnessed who has not. And this is simple from a certain perspective. It's color. It's based in color and hue and brightness and dullness. You live your life with a certain degree of intensity and bravery, courage, love, kindness, compassion. You react consistently to challenge in a way that is loving. And you will shine with love. It's seen. It's not a mental judgment on this level, on these planes. I'm blessed to see enough of this world that I know how the thought process works. Now, I'm kind of simple compared to many of them, but my ability to see you is significant. In fact, following this, we have a live at 11 every week. Go to the website, Wildflower Fire, scroll down, click join. You can join us. And I witness people. I witness some people. And the point is to do this in front of others and to teach you a little bit about what it looks like. Because what I'm doing is a rudimentary bridge between spiritual guidance and human presence. I am an early adapter to a new way of vision. And it's so cool. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's a lot of fun. And the ease with which you can recognize certain dramatic distinctions it's something you can rest on. When I witness certain forces within people, I know you earned that. I know you earned that. I know I could treat you as the person who built your heart to the point where you are that loving. When I see a certain range of burdens on people's shoulders, I know you made the choice to take that on. So I know A, your judgment's questionable. You take on too many burdens. B, you're really loving. You're doing your best to take on a ton. I know a lot about who you are. Consider that there are multiple dimensions to this beyond what I can see that are normal for angelic Gaian guidance, Gaia dance. I really want you to use this. Be present with this. Beautiful, beautiful pun. They are watching you. The reason this matters so much is that up until now, they could be more selective. They could sort of connect you with the currents of awakening. And they could move a current through and then leave, like the weather, the spiritual weather of the world, and move a current through and then leave. And every time they're moving through communities and they're activating some people more than others, and they're putting you in a position of deeper responsibility. This has already been happening. And in this investment, they have chosen, this is where the words come from, they have chosen you. But I really want to reinforce they're choosing you based on what you've done. It's a real earning. And not only can you come to terms with that with a degree of pride, you could come to terms with that as you wouldn't be able to do this unless you'd worked on it in your previous lifetimes. Now that might be a step, but you got to take it. It's time. It's time to witness within yourself the transcendence of this lifetime. It's time to witness within yourself the forces that are coming into being. Because when you see them within yourself, they become more real like this. There's an art. There is an art to this. Learning to place your attention on the awakening forces within yourself greatly amplifies them. Tell us, comment in the chat or beneath if you understand what I'm about to say, particularly if you've experienced it. Certain forces come through your environment and they'll touch you like a breeze. And if you zero in on them and stay focused, you can follow them and they'll go through a shift. This is a deep shift as your own presence integrates them. Now, this shift will not happen in many contexts unless you stay focused on it. You do stay focused on it, it'll incorporate into you. And you have to follow it, and you'll follow it in a way that your attention has to create at least a rudimentary awareness of how it's impacting you. And if you stay present with it, you'll feel a surge of joy. It's really beautiful. And this is a common occurrence. This happens to me multiple times every day, sometimes hundreds of times a day. And if I slip, in some cases, if I slip just a little with my attention, it dissipates. I've taken on less than I could otherwise have incorporated, internalized. This is a next level transcending integration with the web of life. And it's giving you this opportunity to kind of measure how much you're able to take today. And yet, now, it's time. It's time to take it to a much deeper level. Because up until now, they've been channeling forces around us, and there's been this degree of conscious sort of restraint that can't be restrained anymore. The preparation has been set. Now, greater levels of intensity are moving through, and you can't be shielded nearly as easily. And you can't be, because you've already said yes. You've already been saying yes. Now, I assure you, if you really want to hide, you have to work at it. You're going to have to make a job out of hiding. You're going to have to consciously and intentionally, with discipline, invest in old patterns. And they'll live for a while. They will stay alive for another 20 years or so. So you could do something. You could do something that would have made sense in the 80s and the 70s even. Do you really want to put all that work into it? Because I'm here. I can coach you. You would have to very, very disciplinedly, I don't know, can I say that? You would have to use a lot of discipline to recreate a pattern that is deteriorating. It no longer has internal integrity because there's not nearly as much purpose to many of these older patterns. These patterns existed in relation to karmic digestion of 50 years ago. They're running their course. Right now, the new life force is in a way of being that it's ready to go to the next level. And if you want to avoid this, you have to really be rigorous with your efforts. Do you really want to be rigorous with your effort and your attention to avoid the birth of a new world? Well, maybe, because we talk about this week after week. There are many themes that you have to come to terms with that are difficult to come to terms with. They're challenging. The most personal of them, the shame, the grief, the guilt, the angst that you may have about your past, the sense of identity that you need to dissolve. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Now, I have not been drinking enough water during these times, and I set the intention to drink more water. I just felt a surge through my nose. I recentered my attention on my nose. As I focused my attention on my nose, I knew I had to drink a nice, good gulp of water. And I felt the urge to hold it, so I remember to drink more. Too often, I'm not even finishing my cup of water during this time. And it leaves me a little bit more out of tune than I accept. This is how the surges of energy work. So what's happening is this life force is alive. Think of it as the blood of Gaia herself, but it's conscious. It's seeking people like us. And it comes to you and it's able to quickly register how much work you've done and have some degree of discernment about what can you do now. So can you take it to the next level? What is necessary? And it will zero in on you and move through you and inspire healthy habits. Healthy habits, habits that take care of this body, habits that take care of this life that you're living, and even more personal attention to whatever your unique needs are. Now, this works through the chakra system. Your ability to understand what's happening can greatly amplify the success of what's happening. When the spirit comes into you, if you're able to realize that it kind of like tickles your nose and you zero in on the nose tip and you focus on the themes of the nose, and then you're able to much more capably comprehend the messages of spirit. And if you follow through and you do it, now spirit can go deeper in you. It's really this simple. And it's this action challenge over and over again, over and over again. You let the spirit in, you follow it, it reaches into you, and then it addresses a theme. It'll bring up thoughts. It'll bring you to a point of contention within your mind. Let's imagine that you've decided that being a good person means never giving up on people. Let's imagine that you have someone in your life who they're not going to come. They're not going to do it. They're sitting down. They're staring at the ground. They're cutting themselves. They're drinking a 6-pack. They're doing things that just look, it's a profound statement. They're not going to do it. You've decided that a good person, a good friend, a good partner doesn't give up on someone like this. So if you are to follow the guidance of spirit, you will be breaking something in your own mind, your ego, your idea of yourself. Your idea of yourself has to be sublimated to the power of the presence of this spirit. Whew, scary. It's scary. In order for this to work, you're going to have to understand that the ultimate challenge of this is transcendent to anything that you might know of as ego. When we address ego in this form, we're strictly saying your idea of yourself, the programming about you. Now, people often use this to mean like he's got a big ego, which means this person thinks they are a big deal in relation to other people, right? And they could be obnoxious, they could be rude, they can dump their shit on others. This is a very specific malady of the ego. There are lots of maladies of the ego. I just named one that can seem positive. I never give up on my friends. Well, if your friends are demonstrating that they're not going to move, they're not going to grow, they're not going to take care of themselves, and they're going to try to demand your attention with them where they are, and they're going to guilt trip you if you take care of yourself, is that really being a bad person? So confronting the egoic ideas becomes more comprehensive when you allow spirit to give you perspective. Spirit will show you you're being invited into health. You're being given an invitation into a healthier way of being, and it's felt. You can feel it right now. And this is tangible. You are being invited to be incorporated into the web of life much more deeply. You're being invited to be fed by the blood of this earth. Are you going to say no in order to preserve your ego? Now, here's the beauty. It's time. What's the best you've imagined you can be? Now, I'm gonna lead you all on one of the most magnificent changes of your life. And we could do it right now. For some of you, you can do it this afternoon. We're going to set this up carefully. It's gorgeous how simple this is. And for many of you, this will be transcendent today. Together, we're going to do a little bit of preparation. So let's see here. Oh, good. We're only 15 minutes in. Today, we're unleashing you. I can't make this decision for you, but I want you to contemplate. Let's presume, for the sake of hypothesis and imagination, that today, we can unleash you to receive, to embrace, to embody a much deeper layer of crystalline consciousness, to free you to be of the greatest service to the world and to live the best life you can live. And we could do it today. First of all, I'm kind of practical about it because we have to keep our cool. We have to stay focused in a way that can handle the heat. You have to be able to bring a care and a discernment and an awareness that can make clear decisions in how to do this, because the simplest piece is just like pulling a little pin out. It's so simple. So by the time I express this, share this with you, I want you to almost be like, yeah, of course. And yet we will really be doing it. We'll really be freeing you to be who you really are. Now, part of what we're doing is we're going to do a 2-minute yoga break in about 15 minutes. In this yoga break, I want you to consider now what's something you can do that you know will get your heart rate up. Every single one of you can do something that will get your heart rate up. Going to be a little more pushy this time. I want you to do it today. The firm goal is to get your heart rate up. If you can get your heart rate up and do something that challenges your balance and your flexibility, awesome. Awesome. But the first purpose is to get your heart rate up. We'll do a lot of the channeling the energy together. So you trust me to lead this, and we will cope with some of the need to balance the energies. If you can add your ability to balance to your strength and your endurance move, awesome. So what's it going to take to build your heart rate in 2 minutes? I want you to get into that so you know what you're going to do at 33 minutes into this. All right. A little bit more of the preparation work here. I want you to come up with three amazing dreams that you had a long time ago that you didn't pursue. Or you could have pursued it, but you considered it a failure. But here's the key. It doesn't matter what it was. It doesn't matter how practical. It doesn't matter how realistic. What I want is what is the most amazing. Now, you'd be surprised. For some people, this could be one thing. For some people, this could be another. Doesn't really correlate. This is a personal experience. What's important is, where did you put your greatest? Where did you put your idea of greatest? Now I'm gonna share several with you that I have never been able to quite get rid of, although I do believe their time has passed. So, well, I'm gonna have to do some work, so I'll do it slowly. So one that I've never been able to get over, is there was a beautiful building in my hometown. It was really cool. It was the old library. I used to work there when I was young, and it was my after school job during high school. It was so peaceful. Like, I went and shelved books that were being given the interlibrary loan, and I made enough money to buy a lot of music. have some disposable income for clothes on the getting ready for college. It was special. I loved the building. It was very interesting. And it had this round space. A whole area of the building was round. And in that round area was like all the periodicals and newspapers and stuff like that. It was big. And they were moving the library. And one day I walked by and I became consumed. I want to take over this building and I want to turn it into an eternal mic. I want it to be a 24-hour-a-day mic where people come from all over the world to pray with music. The only music that's allowed is prayerful. It's set to address any pain, any wound, any hope. But it's all about generating a new world that we all believe in. And the key factor here, I want it to never stop. I want it to never stop. I wanted to I could feel it. I could feel it attracting people that would serve as like, whether or not you're being watched by many people at first, you're holding an energetic space to pray, to face the pain here, to face the pain here, to face the destruction here, to face the devastation here, to generate the awareness of a new way of life. Love this dream. I was consumed by it for years, so much so that really most other dreams didn't seem to make sense to me. I want you to come up with 3 in your mind, in your awareness. Comment here or keep it to yourself. 3 of the greatest dreams that you can envision. That was 1. Now be present here. This is a really simple point, all right? I was imagining this vision. I was imagining it. When I imagined it, I was imagining it on a vibration within myself. There was like a canvas, a vibrational canvas within me. And it was like the radio station on which my thoughts and imagination existed. That's it. That's all I want you to get. That's all I want you to get. There was a vibe, and that vibe was exceptional. Now, you don't need to be able to access the actual experience I had to be able to appreciate when I had that vision, it was more intense than anything else that I was considering at the time. So it literally had a frequency of intensity that was greater than anything else I'd imagined at the time. Consider that. Now make it abstract. Doesn't matter what it is, right? You can just imagine you're a bundle of energy. You're a bundle of what you know of as normal. You're a bundle of what you know of as normal. And then all of a sudden, a greater intensity flows through you. Imagine it. See it. There's like a current that's 5 times as strong as all the other things that you normally think about and do. Just imagine that moving through your mind. Now, I'm telling you, it's not just your brain. Your brain is just a receptor for a lot of thoughts. A lot of what we think about is moving all around and through our entire body. So just imagine this stronger current of energy moving through you. What's that for you? In your life, what are 3 incredible visions? Incredible, incredible, incredible. Now look, this could be anything. What I'm inviting you to realize is, as much as I appreciate my interesting imagination, you don't need to compete with me for style or breadth of vision. All I care about is, what is that 5 times as strong current moving through you? What has it been? I don't care if it's one day, such a current moved through you. One day. 2, now again, I'm ridiculous. That's why this is my job. I'm perspective, okay? I'm an edge rider in a certain respect. I'm trying to hold space for you to give you permission to be whatever you need to be. That's, in some respects, the purpose of my life. So I'm giving you examples that I'm not encouraging you to compete with. Now, if you can, great, whatever, we'll jostle. I love it. But I'm not asking you, I do not want you to feel less about yourself in relation to what I'm saying. I'm trying to stake out a broad territory. And it's already done. I did it with my life. So 2, And remember, these are 3 things you didn't do or didn't succeed in doing. 2, I was at Occupy Oakland. I can't get over this one because for many of you, maybe you didn't even know this happened, but there were protests all over the United States, and it reached to many other places in the world. And for several months, there was this incredible sense of hope. It was incomparable how exciting this feeling was from the inside. And the hope was of a new world. This was a year before 2012, the December 21st, 2012. So it was 2011, the fall of 2011. And I was very aware that the Mayan prophecy was that the turning of the age was happening in a year. Now, I'd invested a lot of hope there, so I was more aware of it. But the energy was just palpable. It was just there in the world. It was so present. And it was surging through all these people, thousands and thousands of people around where I was. And one day I took a walk. Now, I was very heavily invested in this. And so every morning we were having a meeting. It's hilarious, really. All this broad range of people coming together for a meeting with incredible dynamics of how to communicate, like in loud streets. So we're having meetings in loud streets that were effective. Now, for you to make sense of this context, there was a night we had a protest that was so intense that, many people got hurt, tons of people got arrested, and there was a lot of anger in the crowd. And on this one occasion, I could feel like this could get way out of control. And I was personally standing for not letting it be destructive because I wanted to make our points without being destructive. So the crowd's getting more intense in a way that like this can turn into a riot. Now, if this big group of 1,000 people started breaking everything, it totally ruins everything we're trying to say. That was my attitude. So I started spreading a message that we need to get to this park. And I'm just like walking around, snow park, snow park, snow park, snow park. And it was in the air. Like other people were doing it too. And we did it. We got this whole group of people to go to the park. Now, helicopters flying above us, 1,000 people, no joke, at least in one space, many more thousands around. We're all here, helicopter lights shining down on us, tons of people with loud noises everywhere, sirens. We circle up and we have a meeting. Now, there's a reason I'm telling you all this. We're claiming the intensity. So we circle up, and what we do is you have this strategy. You circle up in this huge group, and then you identify 20 people, roughly. You just circle, and you turn towards each other. Everybody has to have a group, and you just trust each other. Everybody has a group, and then somebody says, I'll be the leader. And you just count how many people are in that circle, and then you prepare to vote. We voted on whether to burn down a bank. We voted. The proposal was to burn down a bank. People were pissed. This guy had gotten hit in the face with a canister by police. They had clearly aimed it at him. He was paralyzed. And when we didn't know that it had gone that bad, but we knew people were getting hurt badly by police. And these were a lot of very, very caring, loving people, some of whom were wild and intense, and somebody had suggested burn down a bank. We voted that down. And it worked. We didn't do that. We didn't do anything close to that. We had a meeting in the middle of all this intensity, voted no to doing something that destructive. And people were making exactly the same points I made to you. If we do something like that, we've completely undermined what we stand for. We've demonstrated that we're willing to break the rules in a very ineffective way. People were quickly able to say, like, the insurance company will fix the bank. They're not going to lose anything out of this. And we will totally tarnish any real point we made. Well, we channeled that energy. We were able to feel the intensity of rage and steer it amidst chaos. There was literally a helicopter searchlight down on us while we were having this conversational meeting in the chaos. Maybe the next day, soon thereafter, not very long later, I went on a walk and I received one of the biggest visions I've ever received. I got a vision that I should propose December 21st, 2012 be the year 0. And I was going to make that proposal in the next meeting that we propose this to planet Earth. I was consumed by that idea for quite a while. I was consumed by it. And I decided not to make that proposal. 3. I've had a thought. 3. Well, wait, pause. Because that's 2. I want you to get the sense of the intensity of that idea. 3. Not yet. So let's do a little more preparation here. I want you to understand there are currents moving through the world, and there are currents that are already moving through the world. So there are currents that have been moving in human cultures for quite a while. Some of them are consistent. Some of them stitch together many cultures. That is primarily operated along tangents of veins of cultural exchange. So either entertainment or commerce for the most part. A lot of orange, a lot of second chakra energy, to be honest with you. A lot of orange stuff. Meaning, what does everyone have in common? Sex and money. Sex, money, and violence. Sex, money, and violence. Orange stuff. How people interact face to face. Now, the reason this matters is because this was actually stitching together the world for the past 100 years. Stitching it together. So a lot of entertainment, I'm sorry, coming from the country I live in, got all over the place, but it worked for a reason. It worked because it created a common denominator between the whole world. Now, amidst this stitching together, new frequencies have been coming in. They've been dipping in, they've been dipping in, and they've been looking for you. They've been looking for you. They've been searching, seeking, flowing, finding people who show potential. Now, I want to remind you, they see energy. So they're seeing vibrancy. Vibrancy is earned. Vibrancy is stemming from your investment in your life. If you learn about heart-mind coherence, you learn that your thoughts shape the resonance of your heart. Your heart has a magnetic connection to your electromagnetic field around you. So if you can get thoughts to be in coherence with your heart, you will greatly amplify those thoughts. Over time, what you think about the most, what you act upon the most, has the greatest influence over your overall vibration. So you're naked to the Gaia dance. The Gaia dance sees you resonating the truth of what you are. And this has made it easy for spiritual guidance of the earth to seek and find those who are, they're trying. Now, let's be clear, and I really want you to appreciate this. They see what you resonate. They don't have to be judgmental in a mean mental way. When we're talking about Judgment Day, I'm just slipping this in here so casually. When we're talking about Judgment Day, this is all we're talking about at first. They're just saying, look at that, they're vibrant. Look at that, they're vibrant. But vibrancy based on coherence is generated by love. It's generated by love. One of the greatest ways to turn on your electromagnetic field is to be loving. Now, these other patterns of sex, money, and violence, sex is generic in this context, meaning we're not even measuring whether it's loving. Gaia made the world to work this way, that you can have sex just between attractions. Well, when you have sex just between attractions, any two forces that have a polarization that works can be attractive. So basically, traumas can attract. It's not immoral, it's amoral. It doesn't measure morality. Essentially, sex is possible in fields of energy that are not loving. Now, the reason that's possible is because it can generate transmutation of energy and some degree of stability. So even in the middle of hostilities or negative, greedy vibrations, you can generate some kind of stability, which ultimately has an advantage. It's a lot. The reason this matters is because you can learn to tune into yourself and recognize that once you know how to relate to intensities on any level, amoral as they may be, you can bring them in coherence to your heart and generate an even stronger magnetic field that essentially puts them in perspective. Once you trust this, there's no polarization between sort of like good and bad, like virgin whore, like, ooh, what, good girls and bad girls, good boys and bad boys. All of this is bullshit. It's not, it's a false concept of reality that we're ready to transcend. It's time. But in order to transcend it, you have to be able to be present with it. And you have to be present with it with this kind of coolness that says, I'm going to ask questions. Right in the middle of your bad girl game, I'm going to ask questions. How are you going to act tomorrow? How are you going to treat my friend? How are you going to treat your friend? How are you going to feel? How's it going to affect your heart? When you learn to start thinking this way, what you're doing is you're bridging the gap to teach yourself to feel the resonance that is in tune with the heart, which is the same resonance that Gaian forces are looking for. I'm trying to teach you how to tune the greatest intensities with the vibrancy of love that gets you judged positively in the world by the Gaia dance. The Gaia dance is seeking you. They're trying to teach you how to be in tune, and they choose you based on what you've done already. So if they've chosen to give you some attention, it's because you've already demonstrated you're worth it. Sit with that. What we're trying to do is seek out the places within you that don't feel like you're worth it. We're trying to seek those places out so we could help you recognize you've already been chosen as worth the investment. Be present with that. 3, I have been consumed for years and years about writing a book about my life. Every single time it's come strong in me, I feel like it's just self-indulgent. Like the world doesn't need another personality cult. I got some very amazing, interesting stories, but I just didn't feel like I could do justice to the tale. So I would say no. This has been a wrestling match of like 12 years. I mean, longer. I was living a ridiculously interesting life by my standards anyway, for quite a while before then, and it already felt like maybe this could be worthwhile. It'd certainly make a better movie than a lot of shit that's put out in the world, right? But every time I shifted my mind to think maybe I should do this, I'm like, the world doesn't need another white boy superhero bullshit. I'm gonna change the world. Personality, pay attention to me. So I would chuck it. Then I'm like, what if I just did it on YouTube and I could tell a story and just be done with it, and I could tell the story in chunks and people could watch me and ask questions. This has made me very excited for quite a while. And then I chucked it because I don't like the idea of making it all center on myself. But I want you to be aware, whenever this inspires me, there's a current of energy running through me. There's a current of energy running through me that equates to the level of inspiration, the level of motivation, the level of intensity, the level of passion that I can feel in relation to that. How are we doing here? Oh man, 38. All right. So that's 3. That's 3. I hope you've got 3. Whether or not you've gotten them, I'll hope you get it by the end of the hour. In 1 minute, we're going to do our little yogic exercise. When we do the exercise, I want you to you're trying to say, how can you get tired in 30? 30 is too little. But if you could get tired in 30 seconds, what would it take? And then can you do that for 2 minutes? So if you're holding a pose, 30 seconds is enough. I want it to be hard enough that you get yourself tired. So I'm going to start with one thing that I'm not good at, but I know it tires me out. And then once I do that, if I still have a little more time, I'll do something that I know I can do that will extra tire me. And I'm inviting you to do the same. One rollover. Have to ask you all to find my glasses for me. Sometimes I'm scared to do intentional rollovers. So I'm like, one rollover, and then I couldn't get myself to do it. All right. I just had 3 incredible visions, intensities from my past. I take them all. I put them in my hands. I give this to you, Gaia. I give you this best energy. I pull the pin. Doesn't matter what I do. I give you the energy of these visions. I give you this energy in service. May every element of my ego be dissolved. I don't care. You show me what you want to do with it. You want to take this? Keep it. You want me to do something else? Please make it clear to me. You want me to do any of those things? Make it very clear. I give you this. I give you this. And I invite you to do the same. Take your visions, take your memories, wrap them up, put them in a ball in front of you and give them to the earth herself. Be intentional, surrender, be humble. In this humility, in this surrender, you're saying, look, if you really want me to do this, make it very clear. But my intention is to take the pure, rich energy. It's the energy of my best. When we were considering burning down a bank, that was an attempt to channel the collective energy, the spirit of the community we were in. That was not a good use of that energy, but that was the best energy. That was the most intense action that many people could think of taking then. We don't want to just negate it. You don't want to just negate the most intense things you've dreamed of in your past. You want to claim it. You want to claim it and give it in service to the very best. And guess what? Maybe she wants a better life for you than you expect. How many of you are living less than your best because you think you're being a good person? How many of you are living less than your best out of protest? You don't believe in the world the way it is. How many of you are not succeeding because you think that it's poisoned to participate? How many of you are not succeeding because you're afraid that you'll embody a negative stereotype? How many of you are not pushing it because you doubt yourself? How many of you are not striving because you are afraid of who you might become? How many of you are not living your best life? It's time. It's time to live your best life. I'll help you. I'll help you. Go out and figure out how to make $1,000 in a day. Come on. Every single one of you could plausibly do that. Figure out how to do it. Figure out how to do it in a way that's good for your heart. Have a caveat. It's good for your heart, meaning it's good for both you, your family, and the world. Figure out how to make $1,000 in a day in a way that's good for you, your family, and the world. You can do these. The world is a very different place than it was 2,000 years ago. There's a lot of money in the world. The way money flows is very interesting. Money is intrinsically not actually a neutral force. Money carries the energy in which it's created and shared. Money carries the energy in which it is exchanged. Money carries an inheritance. If you do work for someone who's been a gun runner, you get some of the poison of their inheritance. But you can transmute it. You can transmute it. If you give some of that money away, you can cleanse all of the money that you receive. So play the game and win. What if you win? What if you win this game? What if you've not been playing the game because you've been disgusted, rightfully so? I made little enough money that I didn't have to pay any taxes for the entire Iraqi and Afghan wars. 20 years where I didn't make enough money to pay taxes because I didn't want to contribute to those wars. Good on me. A little bit of an ego involved. A little bit of an ego involved in that action. I'm not so sure that was the best thing to do. It's what I did. I liked the statement I was making. I liked the prayer I was making. I might have made a bigger difference if I made enough money to contribute to the land trust in our area, which has been buying up incredible ranges of farmland and reforesting them. You could do that. You can do that. You can make a big impact doing what you do in a sacred way, in a good way. And you can't do it unless you dig inside yourself and identify the truth. What have you been dreaming of? What's the most ridiculous house you've ever imagined? What's the most ridiculous house you've ever imagined living in? Let's add this to the mix. Put it on the table. Put it on the table and reclaim that energy. When I got the house we currently live in, I wasn't asking for a house. I was praying to be my best, and the world said, take care of some land. I want you to have a garden that you tend every day. I want you to raise your kids in a place that you protect. It's a piece of me. I want you to protect a piece of me as a piece of you. This is a piece of me, she says. I want you to protect this as a piece of you. What if the world actually wants you to succeed and be a shining light to inspire others? What if the world really wants you to succeed with a degree of restraint? You win with grace. You win efficiently. Win working 30 hours a week, doing something you love, making very efficient use of your time and your heart. I think you can do this. I know you can do this. Now, let me tell you one of the main reasons it's so necessary. This is a threshold. The intensities that are now moving are too strong to keep you hidden. You can't avoid them. The only way you could try to avoid them, as I mentioned earlier, would be to use a lot of discipline to generate a very strong presence of energy from 40 years ago, 40, 50 years ago. So you could take a look at what was happening 40, 50 years ago and put a lot of effort into investing in those things. You will be able to make enough energetic noise to largely deflect the presence of some of the newest, strongest currents. It will not work for much longer, about 5 more years. But you could do it. And I'm telling you how to do it. And if you're willing to put this much effort into it, why don't you put your effort into generating something beautiful for now, beautiful for the future? Because to be present in a way of life that is being born is to recognize yourself as part of this. You get to be a part of something much bigger than you. You get to be riding the currents, channeling the vibrancy, bridging heaven to earth. For all intents and purposes, every vision you've ever had of heaven, that's what this is. Because it's better and bigger and more amazing and spectacular than anything that you could call heaven. So you have to dig inside yourself and find the child you that had a vision of heaven and understand it's your job to make that real in the world. Now, once you understand this, there's just this one last caveat, and it's a tough one. Your ego has to die so deeply that you remember other lifetimes. Now this, you don't have to work at it. You have to channel it. You just have to be willing. And it is daunting. And this is one of the primary reasons people can and will continue to want to avoid playing a central role in this transformation, because you have to be willing. One of the simplest reasons you have to be willing is you earned it already. Meaning you've lived your life. You did work to generate a presence that's you. You need that as part of yourself. You need it as part of yourself, or you can't be the best you. From an energetics perspective that involves a multidimensional awareness, your greatest potential involves the investment you've made over the course of all the lifetimes you've lived. Let's be very simple here. Be truthful. Be truthful. Hold this. When you don't know what truthful is, just make it a prayer. I pray to be truthful. I pray to be truthful with myself about who I am, who I have been. Now imagine we can do this. Just consider that we can do this. So abstractly, you're determining all the lifetimes you've got are laid out in front of you in a visual form. You're seeing the spirit, little figurines of the spirit you generated in all your different lifetimes. Some of them were dull. Some of them were sort of failures. They don't shimmer much. They're vague. Some of them are just like, there's nothing special about them. They just blend into the background. You didn't change reality much. Some of them are aggressive. They stand out in a negative way. A lot of them, it's disproportionate. A lot of them are beautiful. You succeeded well in becoming an artisan, in becoming a business leader, in becoming a hunter, in becoming a farmer, in becoming a leader of some form, in becoming a religious guide, becoming a doctor. And you generated a vibrancy that exists in this little figurine you can see in front of you. Now, who you are capable of being now exists in relation to that. It exists in relation to everything you've done in all of your lifetimes here on Earth. This potential exists from a visual, energetic perspective. And remember, you are seen on these planes already. So your true guidance, your true guardian angel knows what you're capable of. And your capacity is in direct relation to everything that you've already lived. It's geometric. It's a physics of spirit. You are being presented with this. It's greatness by any measure you could use. It is great. It is something that is greater than all of what you've already done. There is no true humility in saying, no, I can't do that. Not at all. You're being asked to do that in service to the world. Sit with these. You are being asked right now. Will you accept? Now, a lot of us are saying yes together. You feel this? I'm being asked to do what I do. I'm being asked to ask you. I'm being asked to lead you in this ritual. This is a ritual that we are moving through. They will be increasingly sacred, intentional. That's where we're going with this wildflower fire. I am doing everything I can to offer my best in service. And this is how I do it. I do it in front of you so you can see. And then what happens, happens. I wake up with the inspiration to do what I do. I have to tell you, I'm astonished by how natural it's become to be with you in this way. Now, in truth, there's something less daunting about being in a room by myself. Every once in a while, I can fool myself into believing, I'm just doing this to the wall. But you keep saying hello and thank you. And it keeps generating such incredible presence. And I feel you. I feel you when we make these prayers. I feel you when you say yes. And I'm inviting you again. Will you take the best that you've envisioned in this life and imagine that it exists as just a vibrating energy and put it in your hands? Put it in your hands. The best vision you've ever had. You're not evaluating whether it's practical. You're not evaluating whether it's realistic. You're not evaluating whether you can handle it. You're just taking it and putting it in your hands. and you're offering it to the world. You're surrendering your best to Gaia herself. And you're sensing a direct channel down to the middle of the earth. And you're saying, it's yours. It's yours. Give me back what you know I can be. I agree to exist in relation to what you invite me to be because you see me in the fullest and broadest way. You know me as everything that I have been in every lifetime. You know the darkest hidden spaces where I fail, where I falter. You know how to lead me to cope with those. You know my brightest. You know my potential. You know my capacity. You know what you need. And I trust you to invite me to be where you know I am most needed. And I invite you to make this prayer with me for yourself. Gonna hop on over. Wildflowerfire.com. Join the gathering. I'll be there in about 5.